Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now, Wednesday, April the 5th. Ian Cameron and Alex B. Smith ready to break down the Wednesday card. A light slate, 3 games, which I think we're okay with after a big slate yesterday and a double dose of the Ice Guys, as always, on a Tuesday with the Daily Show, which is always long because of the big-sized card. And, of course, the Betcast, which was another fun Betcast last night. We went right to the very end last night, right to that final horn sounded in L.A. for the final game of the night, the Oilers and the Kings. But lots of fun, kind of up and down from a betting perspective. Not so much for Alex, though. Alex had a very, very good night with the live bets and just overall. So good to see that. Again, great company and great camaraderie as well from all of our listeners and viewers of the show that joined us as guests on the Betcast. And looking forward to next Tuesday, which will be our final regular season Ice Guys Live Betcast, Tuesday, April 11th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you join us for that. But Alex, another fun night watching the games and betting them on the Betcast last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a great time. We averted a crisis, of course. Earlier we joked throughout the show about Perlo was on the chat, of course, and had a little kitchen incident. But other than that, it was all smooth sailing.
Burned down, thankfully.
No one,
we
right.
were worried for a second there. Yeah,
yeah. So it was smooth sailing after that. And like I said, I had a great night. Hit my best bet yesterday with Carolina at first period puck line. They didn't make the game easy, obviously, going in the OT, but just a lot of fun and like I said, a lot of profitable plays, and that's what it's all about, having a good time, but also being able to cash some bets and make some money. And like I said, it's not going to work like that every week. We're not going to always win and lose. Last week I had a really bad run when everybody else won, so it was kind of a flip flop on that. But still a great time, and I can't wait for the next one next week.
Yeah, exactly. And we got another Betcast next week. Well, just quickly, because we talked a lot about the games last night, we're just going to highlight a couple of the games. We're going to try to keep the show pretty short today after it was a lengthy Tuesday for all of us. But, yesterday, I guess the highlights were Florida getting a huge 2 points, beating Buffalo 2-1, a really damaging loss for the Sabres. We're already in tough to make the playoffs. Now it just got tougher. And Florida surpasses Pittsburgh for that final wild card spot in the East with their win and Pittsburgh's 5-1 loss to the New Jersey Devils, which is pretty much dominated start to finish, were the Penguins in that game. What else did we see? We saw Nashville upset Vegas 3-2 in overtime. Calgary, a damaging loss for them last night, 4-3 against the Chicago Blackhawks. Now putting extreme importance on Calgary getting 2 points tonight in this huge matchup against the Winnipeg Jets, the team they are chasing for that second wild card spot. This becomes just about imperative for the Flames to not only win tonight, but hopefully do it in regulation and keep Winnipeg from getting any points. But that will be easier said than done after just a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching loss 4-3 to the Blackhawks last night. That's now twice the Calgary Flames have lost at home at the Saddledome to Chicago. 4 points down the crapper against Chicago. Do you think those 4 points that they've missed out against Chicago at home, among others, may come back to haunt them, at some point if they miss the playoffs? So that's not what you want to see. Seattle took a big step forward to clinching a playoff spot with a nice 5-2 win against Vancouver. In spite of a tough spot, in spite of Martin Jones being in net, they found a way to get the victory, which is definitely good news for the Kraken. The game of the night, Edmonton, LA, even though it was 3-1 Oilers, you might say, hey, pretty low scoring, maybe not a entertaining, exhilarating game. Couldn't be further from the truth. It was a very entertaining game, very, very intense game, some physicality as that game went along. You could start to see the animosity start to ramp up for teams that played each other, obviously, in the playoffs last year in the first round and might play each other again in the first round this year. But the Oilers, I'm telling you what, I am becoming more impressed because they have finally found a level of comfort, in these lower scoring, tighter checking games where, if the Oilers were stuck in one of those games before, they would not win those games. They would get shut down. They would not be able to equal the other team defensively or in goal. And the Oilers proved once again last night, their second win against the Kings in less than a week, that they were basically able to play that tighter checking, lower scoring game, remain patient, not chase their offense, not start pinching left and right at the opposing blue line. Just stay patient, wait for your chances to unfold, capitalize on a key power play, which they were able to do in the third period with that Leon Draisaitl goal. And that's the recipe for winning these tight, lower-scoring games, of which you're going to see more of, obviously, when the Stanley Cup playoffs get underway in a couple of weeks. So it was a very, very impressive, and I think a playoff confidence builder type of win as well for the Edmonton Oilers last night. Alex, what did you just sum up your thoughts on the card from last night?
Yeah, I mean that game at night, that was great. Just fun. Like I said, that's that playoff type of hockey that we want to see. The rest of the way in the regular season, of course, when everything gets rolling, in a week and a half from now. And it's funny because we talk about the dilemma we were talking about throughout the show was who's going to start in net for the Kings, with Copley. He played his ass off. It wasn't he wasn't the reason they lost necessarily, but it's like trying to figure out what that balance between him and Korpisalo, and more than likely this is going to be the two teams that are facing off, and like I said, based on these wins now, it looks like Edmonton will have the inside track on home ice. So that's going to be a really interesting and fun series to watch for sure. And we were talking too about how these wild card teams just keep beating each other up in both conferences, and keep putting themselves in these holes where no team is just stepping out and saying, "Hey, we're going to take a wild card spot right now. We're going to go on and win 3 of the next 4, or earn points in 4 of the next 5, and lock down a wild card spot." It's coming down to the end, and I think a lot of these teams in the bottom are going to be not only are they not up to the level of top tier competition, especially in the Eastern Conference. I just don't think anybody can hang around with Boston or Carolina right now. In a 7-game series, but also just the fact that they've worn themselves so thin, having to fight for every point at this point, that fatigue level mentally, I think, could wear on them, and it might be some short playoff series for some of these wildcard teams in both the East and West.
The other big bit of news to come out from last night was the official elimination of the Washington Capitals as well. And that's something that's worth pointing out, because obviously it's been a while that since we have seen the Washington Capitals not involved in the Stanley Cup playoffs. 2014 was the last time we saw Washington miss the playoffs. So no Ovechkin, Backstrom, Oshie, and company in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I got to admit, it's going to be a little weird to not see number 8 in the Stanley Cup playoffs for the Washington Capitals. But, I'm not shocked by this. We talked about they're a team in transition. Their window to contend is closing. If not, it's closed now, because they traded away some key pieces at the deadline, basically signaling that we're starting the rebuild here in Washington. So the end of an era, Alex. Washington Capitals playoffs, not going to happen for them.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of us are shocked, honestly. I mean, this is the team that we, like I said, talking about the last couple of playoff series that they were in. They didn't look like a team that could make that another cup run. Ovechkin getting older, that core group getting older, and it just seemed like there was a lot of complacency with Washington the last couple of years. And of course, with Ovechkin being kind of the focal point this year, with his, getting to number 2 all time in goals, and of course the eventual loss of his father, he's always been the spotlight on this team throughout the years. But I think even more so, and I think it was more of a distraction rather than where all the focus is on him and it takes pressure off of the other guys. I think it worked kind of in reverse this year compared to previous years, and maybe they can rally and make some moves and be back in the postseason race next year. But chances are, the beginning of the end is kind of here for that Caps run. And then some of these guys will probably get moved on. And of course, Ovechkin, once he gets the record, he'll eventually retire. That's when we'll start seeing that rebuild fully happen in the nation's capital.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely that is the case indeed. So it's going to be interesting to see. Again, Washington's got a lot of moves that they're going to have to make, a lot of decisions to be made moving forward. We've got some decisions to make for tonight. 3 games on the card. We'll start with the first game of the doubleheader on TNT tonight. They've got their usual Wednesday night doubleheader, and it begins on Broadway with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Rangers at MSG. Rangers minus 120, home favorite, 6 the total in this game. If you're the Rangers here, you're really in one of these positions here where in the last week and change of the regular season, there's not really much at stake. There really is not. I mean, there's nobody in the wild card that's going to catch you in the 1-2 spot. They're way behind. You're not really going to catch New Jersey now, especially after the Devils won last night. You're now 5 behind the Devils. They do have a game in hand, so I guess it's not impossible, but very unlikely at the moment anyway that the New York Rangers are going to end up catching the Devils for second, which would give them home ice in the first round. And they're definitely out of the Metro Division title picture, 8 points behind the Hurricanes. So there's not a lot to play for down the stretch for the Rangers. But something tells me tonight this game means something to them. Playing the Tampa Bay Lightning, playing the team that obviously, last year in the Stanley Cup playoffs took them down, obviously in the conference finals. I think that matters to the New York Rangers to come out tonight, have a good performance. And I like the Rangers a little bit here, minus 120. It's not extreme confidence because I will admit Tampa Bay's looking as good as they've looked in a very long time here these last few games. And you got to give them credit for that. And the 3 wins, you could throw out the Washington win because we really can't count Washington as a quality win right now. But the other wins, the Islanders, who are, trying to cement their playoff spot, they took it to them, beat them up 5-1, shut out Carolina, the Hurricanes in Carolina. That was the ultimate revenge spot for the Lightning because they got thoroughly embarrassed in Carolina. That game where they had 4 fucking shots on goal after the first 2 periods. I'll still never forget that. I couldn't believe how wretched they were in that game, but they definitely made amends for it. So they played better. Vasilevsky's on an incredible streak again. He's playing some excellent hockey. So it's not an easy thought to, step in front of Tampa here tonight. But I do sense the Rangers. This is a game that they do care about. This is a game that they'd like to get 2 points in against the team they faced in the playoffs last year, and maybe set the tone for this year's playoffs. That, hey, if we face you guys again down the road and you beat Toronto again, and we have to maybe face you in a second round or beyond, it's going to be a different result this year. And the Rangers, of course, tonight, and as John Massey, who's a Rangers fan, pointed out, I think this is the game they care about, and the game they're vulnerable to losing is probably tomorrow night when they take on the St. Louis Blues on the back-to-back. But tonight, I think they're invested in this hockey game, the New York Rangers. Vasilevsky's confirmed in net. Surprisingly, we haven't gotten Igor Shesterkin confirmation yet for the Rangers, but I fully expect him to be in between the pipes tonight in this game. So I'm going to go with the Rangers and a little smaller sprinkle on the draw as well, because we have seen close competitive games. It was 2-1 Lightning in a shootout back in December down in Tampa. It was 3-1 Rangers. I believe the first game of this regular season for both teams, it was opening night, that October 11th game. Rangers won here at MSG 3-1, but I believe it was an empty net goal to put it away. So that game was very tight as well. So Rangers for me, minus 120 with just a smaller little wager amount on the draw as well. What do you think here, Alex? Lightning Rangers.
That's exactly what I played. Rangers and a sprinkle on the draw. And this is not a draw that I really, really love, to be honest, especially because you look at the fact, like I said, these two teams really can't move out of their position. They're pretty much cemented in their respective third place division roles. And so with that, there's not much urgency for getting 1 point and settling in overtime. If anything, like I said, I think this is going to be a statement game for the Rangers. Like I said, they want to prove that, hey, we can make that next level jump. Let's beat this Tampa Bay team that knocked us out last year, that's starting to get on a little bit of a roll, and build off of that momentum. So that's what I think the energy they come in with. And Tampa Bay is tight. So like I said, the fact that they have played well, won the last 3 games, the draw sprinkle is more of a, I kind of side where, okay, Tampa Bay is playing a little bit better hockey right now, but the Rangers money line is what I'm looking at, because I think they'll be able to step up and put the screws to this Lightning team. Like I said, I'm still not impressed by Tampa, even though the 3 wins, like I said, we could throw the Washington win out. Yes, Carolina, there's a bit of a rivalry there, but the Canes haven't been playing their best hockey right now. And the Islanders is another team that I'm not really super duper impressed with. Beating them 5-0. Okay, we know how their offense can just be up, on and off like a light switch, essentially. So, yes, they're important wins for Tampa, but they're not the most impressive wins in my book.
All right. Yeah. I like I said, I am actually going to give them a little bit more credit than you. I mean, you're an old miser right now, Alex, when it comes to Tampa. But I think if you go to Carolina and you beat the Hurricanes 4-0, that's pretty damn impressive, that game. And then, of course, I thought the Islanders, who are playing for points right now, to be able to beat them like they did, I thought that was pretty good too. The Washington game, throw it out. Washington's obviously packed it in for, a couple weeks now. But I think I will give them a little more credit. They have played better lately. But I still concern myself with them playing good teams on the road. The Carolina win was one of the very few wins, Alex, with Tampa Bay lately where they've beaten a really quality team on the road. That has been a problem all season for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, yeah, they did it against Carolina, but that's one of the very few times they've done it recently. They're still 18-20. They're a losing team on the road, Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
18-20 is the road record this year for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, like I say, I think this is definitely a spot the Rangers care about. And then tomorrow night, I think John hit the nail on the head last night on our betcast that come back and probably take St. Louis tomorrow night, because especially if they win tonight, that's just mail it in city waiting to happen tomorrow night. probably against the St. Louis Blues. So, yeah, I like Rangers and the smaller on the draw as well, and so does Alex. Prop-wise, even though I like the Rangers in the game, doesn't mean I can't bet some Tampa props. And the one that stands out is Alex Killorn, goal prop, point prop. 4 straight games with a point for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's definitely been able to produce. And like I say, and we've talked about this with Killorn for a while now. After some early struggles to get his offense going, boy, that's changed lately. No question about that. So Alex Killorn to get a point tonight is only minus 122. To get a goal, if you want to sprinkle that, plus 290. I don't hate the look that our Cuban friend in the chat mentions here. Kakko at plus 500. He stepped up a little bit offensively of late, and this is a guy that we know, high-level first-round pick. So we're waiting for him to basically step up, and definitely I think Kakko is got a shot here to find the back of the net. Lafreniere, too, because Lafreniere has been noticeable. He scored a terrific goal against Washington on Sunday afternoon in that win against the Capitals. So I think Lafreniere is worth a look. And I like on the Tampa side as well, Mikhail Sergachev. We have been talking about him chipping in from the blue line lately. He's only minus 125 to get a point, plus 106 to get an assist. Very good props. He has been noticeably chipping in from the back end for the Tampa Bay Lightning in recent games. He's on a streak, actually, of 3 straight games with a point coming into this hockey game tonight. Stamkos goal streak at 3 games as well. So there's something to keep in mind as well. But definitely a couple props that I do like there in that Lightning and Rangers game. All right, the next game on the slate, and man, is this a huge, huge matchup here in the battle for the remaining wild card spots in the Western Conference. The Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg minus 130, home favorites, 6 the total in this game. Like we talked about, just a very damaging loss for the Flames last night, losing at home 4-3 to the Chicago Blackhawks. We'll see if they bounce back here tonight against a Jets team that was going through their own struggles, significant struggles at that. But they came back home after a tough stretch in California where they lost 2 of 3, including a 3-0 shutout loss in San Jose, which was pretty much the bottom, rock bottom, if you will, for Winnipeg. But boy, did they bounce back at home, beating Detroit and New Jersey 12-3 combined score in those 2 games. And Rick Bowness shuffled up his lines going into those 2 games at home against the Red Wings and Devils, said, I got to try to shake things up, get this team to, somehow wake themselves up out of the malaise. And the new line combinations have worked. He's loaded up Connor, Dubois, Scheifele on the top line. He's got Vladimir Nemesnikov moved up to center the second line with Wheeler and Ehlers. Niederreiter, Lowry, and Appleton has ended up forming a very good 2-way line. And it's also given that line more offense because Niederreiter is playing on it now for the Winnipeg Jets. So these have been some very nice, creative lineup adjustments here by Rick Bowness. And the 2 games with these new line combinations, the offense has taken off. They've scored goals in bunches, and the big guns are all found new life again. Scheifele was in a drought. Connor was in a drought. Dubois was in a funk. All of these guys, they couldn't find the back of the net. And now all of a sudden, these last 2 home games, they are scoring in bunches. So this is going to be a tall task here for the Calgary Flames. Scheduling advantage for Winnipeg as well. They're rested. They were at home Friday. They were at home Sunday. They've been off since that win against New Jersey on Sunday. 2 days to practice at home, no travel, and they get Calgary on a back-to-back after hosting Chicago last night. So definitely it screams Winnipeg, but at the same time, I've got that funny feeling in the back of my mind. Calgary's going to come to play tonight because this is the last stand, you could say, for them in this game, and they're not going to make it easy on the Winnipeg Jets, even with the Jets with the spot advantage, looking great in their last 2 home games. So I'm off the side. If I were to bet the money line side, I'd definitely lean Winnipeg. There's no question. But I'm off that side. I'm just going to bet the draw. We have made no secret, going back to yesterday's show and the betcast, that the draw to me looks like the play here in this one, because Calgary, I think they will be, whatever urgency and desperation and backs against the wall mindset they have, they will bring it here tonight against the Winnipeg Jets. Goalie confirmation. The initial plan for Daryl Sutter was to have Jacob Markstrom both nights. Hellebuck obviously is the goalie tonight for Winnipeg, but we don't have confirmation yet for Calgary. Does last night's results change anything? Just because Markstrom, the plan all along was Markstrom starting last night and tonight for the Calgary Flames, but it hasn't been confirmed that it's Markstrom just yet. I actually think this is a tight, lower-scoring game as well. I just get that feeling it's probably going to end up being one of those 2-1, 3-1 playoff type of battles as well here in this game. Even though Winnipeg's gone over 2 straight and Calgary's actually gone over in 3 straight games, I get that sense we're going to see a tighter checking affair tonight. But as you know, I don't bet unders very often, if at all. So that obviously is just a lean for me to the under. But I will bet the draw here. And again, the draw, you can shop around. FanDuel, like I said, often ends up being the book where we get the best prices for the draw. And that remains the same here going into this game with the Flames and the Jets. You can get the draw at FanDuel at plus 360. Which is the best price that is out there for the draw in this game. Alex, what do you think here? Calgary, Winnipeg.
Yeah, I sprinkled. It's funny. Somebody said in the chat. Yeah, I said no draw. Yeah, but my official plays that I've given out to clients, I have not given out a draw play. The 2 that I do have in pocket personally, and this is one of them, Flames and Jets. Like I said, we're automatically betting some of these games draw, and that's not always recommended. I'm not going to tell clients that if you're betting, certain games, you have a certain limit parameter. But I have a set thing that I'm betting, some things in certain matchups. It's automatic. I'm going to draw. Both teams need points here. This, like I said, sets up to be a very close battle. The draw makes sense, even if you were to put a 5, spot on it. It makes sense to have something on it. But the Jets here at moneyline price, I got it minus $1.25, and I'm seeing it climb now. $1.30. I see $1.35 at a couple of shops. Everybody's kind of looking at the same thing. I think this Calgary team is toast. That loss was just, and it wasn't just the fact that losing to Chicago. They've matched up poorly against Chicago, for a while. The thing was that this game was tied at 2-2 going into the third period, and to give up 2 goals that early, it just seemed very backbreaking. And you could just tell the air was out of the Saddle Dome. It just, that feel and that vibe said to me, okay, this Calgary team, this is the beginning of the end now. It's not so much trusting the Jets, especially laying a price. I'm not crazy about how the Jets are playing right now either. Like I said, all these wild card teams to me look like fish food for the top seed contenders in both conferences. So it's just that, but I think the Winnipeg Jets will have enough momentum at home to get 2 points that they need here, and I'm taking a shot here, laying it with a short card. If this was a big card, this game happened last night, I'm probably only betting the draw. But other than that, like I said, with this being a shorter card, and the biggest, probably the best bet to do with this game is when you're watching Lightning and Rangers on TNT, listen to our friend Jarek Rubel, who's doing the radio commentary on Ultimate Sports Radio Network. We tweeted this out at the Ice Guys. I tweeted it out on my personal Twitter. I know Bobano, Ian, you'll tweet that out on your account after the show. But we definitely will be listening to that. Jarek does a wonderful job calling play-by-play. So that's it's not going to be a TV game here in the States. So I definitely will be tuning in and listening to this one. Listen to Jarek call with the Flames and Jets.
Yeah, I definitely for me as well. No question about that. Make sure support our guy, Jarek Rubel. And look, these are 2 good play-by-play men that do the play-by-play for their respective teams on television. Dan Robertson's very good for Winnipeg. I think Rick Ball's one of the top 10, as you'll know from our video that we did. Rick Ball's excellent, but I'll make an exception to listen to Jarek tonight because I think he's a burgeoning young broadcaster. I think he's getting better. I think he shows enthusiasm with every big save, big goal, scoring chance. That's what you want to see and hear out of a play-by-play broadcaster. And he's looking for his big break. So I will tune in, and you should as well. We'll post the link on the Patreon page and also, of course, the Twitter as well. Jarek Rubel's play-by-play of Flames versus Jets for the USRN network there that he does it for online. So definitely looking forward to this game. It's the game of the night just because it's a playoff game in the regular season. That is essentially what this is here. With the Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets. I do like Huberdeau to get a point, even though, I think Calgary might be up against it. He's gotten just because of the value. This is a guy that's actually played pretty well these last few games. He's been noticeable. He ends up scoring the goal against Chicago last night to bring them back within 1, a great feed from Michael Backlund. I definitely think, and Huberdeau has a point, like I said, in 3 straight games, and it's only minus 125 for him to get a point tonight. So the price is reasonable on JH, I should say, Jonathan Huberdeau, to get a point here for Calgary in this game tonight. I think the over saves prop, if I had to choose, I'd be more interested in the Hellebuck over saves prop tonight because I think he could be facing a lot of rubber. I think Calgary fires everything at the net tonight. Trying to win this game, they got to have it. They need the 2 points. So I'm not saying that Markstrom's saves prop, assuming he's the goalie for Calgary, can't go over as well, but I'm more interested in Hellebuck over saves tonight for the Winnipeg Jets in this one, because I think Calgary will do what they often do, especially in a game that they've got to have tonight. They'll fire a lot of rubber on goal, and I think we'll see that tonight for them against Connor Hellebuck. All right, there's the first two games. We got one more game to go. Hit the like button, everybody on YouTube. Shout out to our podcast listeners as well. We'll be back to talk Edmonton-Anaheim, final game on this Wednesday card in just a moment, right after we hear from GramCo.
Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by GramCo. Whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, court, or the ice, GramCo is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, GramCo provides customers with consistent quality Delta-8 THC products ready for any occasion. GramCo currently offers numerous Delta-8 products, including vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. GramCo offers an enjoyable, legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you. GramCo is also available at many American retailers as well. You can get the best Delta-8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from GramCo. And if you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code IceGuys, you will get 20% off of every order, and any order that's on the site over $50 will be shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with GramCo and check out their wonderful Delta-8 products today.
All right, we are back here on the Ice Guys, and yes, the playoff box giveaway presented by GramCo. There's only a few days left to sign up for that. Fill out that form. It's on our Twitter. It's in the YouTube video description below this video. Get involved. You've only got a couple days left because we're announcing the winners this Saturday, April 8th.
Yes, you have until Friday, midnight Eastern, to fill out the form. It is located right at the top of the description below in the YouTube video. It is posted in any of the links that we have on Patreon. It is pinned on our Twitter page at @the_Ice Guys. Later on tonight, I will have it pinned on top of my page as well. So you don't want to miss out on this. Like I said, we're going to announce the winners. 6 people in all will be winning either a $10 gift card from GramCo or the playoff box, which is 30 count of gummies, 25 milligrams each, 2 1-gram pre-rolls, and a 2-gram disposable in my favorite flavor of mimosa. It's what I keep with me all at all times. So you'll get all of that right in time for the beginning of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we want to thank GramCo for sponsoring that giveaway.
Exactly. So make sure you get involved at that GramCo playoff box giveaway. All right, final game, Edmonton-Anaheim. This is the second game of the doubleheader tonight with TNT. Edmonton-Anaheim, Oilers minus 350, road favorites, 7 being the total. That's back-to-back nights, national television in the U.S. for the Edmonton Oilers. So a less glamorous opponent, though, obviously, than last night. That's the only issue. Edmonton just absolutely buried the Anaheim Ducks this past weekend in Edmonton, 6-0. Wasn't even competitive. The Oilers won going away. They've now won 5 straight. This is a little bit of a tricky little spot. I mean, not so much that, we know they're better than Anaheim. If they could win with 60%, performance level tonight, they could probably still beat Anaheim. But, you look at this spot, Anaheim's rested. They haven't played since the Calgary game to wrap up that road trip on Sunday. They've had 2 days off. Edmonton's off another second huge win in less than a week over the LA Kings, a team they might face in the first round, a team they're trying to beat for home ice advantage as well, and finish ahead of for home ice advantage and second in the Pacific Division. Man, it does feel like if there's ever a let your foot off the gas pedal spot, it's tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. It's not at all a great spot for Edmonton, but can you trust this horrendous Ducks team, to actually do something about it? Anaheim team that's now lost 8 straight games. They have been wretched in their own zone. They give up goals in bunches. They've given up 6, 5, 4, 6, and 5 in their last 5 games, which isn't good at all. And that's danger that they run into when you face Edmonton, is that Edmonton is just so prolific offensively that they can just do significant damage. Edmonton's beaten Anaheim 5 of the last 6 meetings. They've won 2 straight here in Anaheim against the Ducks. So it's hard to envision, having the trust in Anaheim, even with this being a tricky spot for Edmonton, to beat them. It's just there's just that kind of problem right now with Anaheim's play. They've been that poor. The penalty kill has given up a goal for Anaheim in 4 straight games. That's not what you want to see when you're playing this historically great Edmonton Oilers power play. Not at all. We'll have to see who's in net tonight in this game, because you would think after Skinner last night, we will see Jack Campbell. And before we, just get to that fade Jack Campbell narrative, he did shut out Anaheim, and he did face Anaheim on Saturday, and he shut them out. He did play well. So is he capable of duplicating that? We'll see. I'm seeing that John Gibson's been, a little bit banged up. There's a question about whether he'll be good to start tonight for the Anaheim Ducks in net. If not, it could be Lucas Dostal once again getting the start for the Anaheim Ducks. But I definitely am interested in the over here. We're going to maybe take a shot that this dips to 6.5 live in game during the game and try to get a 6.5 out of this. I'm not sure, because sometimes these Edmonton games, especially when they play these bad teams, there seems to be a goal in the first 2-3 minutes. The first period, both teams to score, it might be worth a look here, because, I could see Anaheim sneaking a goal in the first period of this game against maybe a little bit of a flat, disinterested Edmonton team coming out of the gate. So I really don't mind that look either that you can find. And again, shop around, but usually at BetMGM, that's the book where you get some of the best prices for the first period, both teams to score. I mentioned the game that I liked, the first period, both teams to score most of all last night, was Seattle and Vancouver. I think it's this game tonight. I think Anaheim's just going to, they're going to find a way to get one in and score a goal in the first 20 minutes. Meanwhile, obviously, we can fully expect Edmonton probably to light the lamp in the opening period as well. And it's plus 140 at BetMGM for that both teams to score in the first period with the Oilers and the Ducks, which I do like. And then I'll look for a live over here as well. There's another one too with the draw is calling my name a little bit, but I'm going to keep that very, very small in this one. But I definitely could see this being Edmonton, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1 even, kind of like the last meeting. Or I could see, Edmonton in a battle here because they're asleep for a good portion of this game after a huge win against LA last night. And the draw's plus 490. That price is good enough for me to put a couple bucks on that as far as I'm concerned. What do you think here, Alex? Oilers, Ducks?
Yeah, I mean, this is a game I'm going to stay away from betting. It makes total sense that, I could see people jumping on Anaheim because we see Edmonton do this often, right? Edmonton's right in that same boat with Colorado and Toronto as being those teams where when they're laying huge prices, they, all of a sudden inexplicably lose 3-2 to a bad Anaheim team. If I had to play something, gun to my head, it would be that both teams would score first period at a plus price, because both of these teams have great first period over numbers, but I'm not going to lay $1.05 with over 2. And I don't think we'll have enough time to try to catch something good live in game. So if I had to play anything, it would be both teams to score first period, but I don't have to play it. So I'm not going to. It's going to be a pass.
All right. Nothing wrong with that. It is a tricky game, but definitely. Well, the one thing I would not recommend to anybody is lay 350 in this spot on the road with Edmonton. Just don't. I mean, obviously they're much better than Anaheim, but Hockey 101 handicapping says, especially late in the season, and a team beats a team for the second time in a week, like LA, a team that Oilers have playoff history with, might face again in the first round. This is not the spot where you necessarily can bank on Edmonton's A game. And for that reason, you don't want to lay 350 with Anaheim here. Or Edmonton, rather, in this spot. Yeah, Bouchard over point is always worth a look, Rico. That's true. I should mention that. I'm always interested in that. No doubt about it. Looking at any point props with Evan Bouchard. He's taken Tyson Barrie's role. Tyson Barrie got traded to Nashville. Evan Bouchard's getting all those power play minutes right now for the Oilers, and he's making the most of them too. So I definitely think the point props for Evan Bouchard continue to be worth a look. What else? This is probably a good game to look at over saves for whoever's in net for Anaheim, just because they give up a ton of rubber to the opposing team. We got there barely with the Dostal saves against Calgary over, but I would consider going back to that. You could look at certainly individual players over shots on goal for Edmonton, Vander Kane, Draisaitl, McDavid. All of those guys, certainly. Nugent Hopkins has actually been trending upward with his shots on goal lately as well for the Oilers. So there's some good options with the over shots on goal player props for the Oilers in this game. All right, great stuff. That's the Wednesday card. Shorter show for today. Hit the like button on the way out, of course. And reminder, patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 a month. Goalie charts, totals charts, power ratings, daily Ice Guys show, betting card, bonus content, and more. Sign up and subscribe, just $10 a month. Patreon.com/Ice Guys.
Also, contrary to popular belief, spring is on the way. I know I'm looking at a bunch of snow outside, as many people are, but spring is on the way. Warmer temperatures will be here. It's a good time to get a new hoodie, get a new T-shirt, maybe a new baseball cap. We got all of that at the Ice Guys store. iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Check that out right now.
All right, there you go. iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Make sure you take a look at all the great gear that is on our Ice Guys store. Great merch products that you can cop. So make sure you get those at the Ice Guys store. All right, we've got best bets coming up to wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys show right after we hear from Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS. That's promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, it's about 14 million balls that you can preserve. The Performance Package 4.0 is the complete accessory package to take care of everything that is required. You've got, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. Takes care of your facial hair and among other things. You've got, of course, the Weed Whacker. I'm approaching 40. Nose hair has become a major issue. It pisses the hell out of me. I need to take care of that shit, and the Weed Whacker can help you do that. Both of these products, waterproof and a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. And you'll also be able to take care of those delicate areas with the ball toner, with the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good, looking good, and feeling good down in the nether regions. This complete Performance Package 4.0 will take care of everything for you, for all you guys out there, and it's courtesy of our good friends at manscaped.com. So get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use promo code ICEGUYS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, we're back, and it's time to wrap up the show, as always, with best bets for this Wednesday card. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
Yeah, we go with the biggest game of the night. It's Calgary and Winnipeg. I'm going with the Jets. I laid $1.25. I still like it at $1.30. It's going to be a tight game, but I just don't believe in trust in this Calgary Flames team to step up in a big spot here on the road after the way they laid an egg against a bad Hawks team at home. Give me Winnipeg minus $1.30. That's my best bet for Wednesday night.
There we go. Liking the Winnipeg Jets to get the job done. Minus 130 against the Calgary Flames for best bet here for Alex B. Smith on this Wednesday card. And my best bet for this slate, very slim pickings. So I'm going to go by default with the New York Rangers here. Minus 120 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll go with that. This is one game that I think, even though the Rangers are locked into their position in the standings. Let's be honest, Tampa Bay is locked into their position pretty much in the standings too. Let's not forget that. I mean, Toronto winning last night especially means that they're ever so much closer, the Leafs, to getting second in the Atlantic. I think it's a question of when, not if, they clinch that home ice in the first round, which means Tampa's locked into third. So it's not like Tampa's got a huge incentive to move up the standings either. And I think the Rangers here in this spot are worth a look. They've been good at home. Tampa's got a losing record still at home this year. They got to prove to me they can beat really good teams on the road. I like this situation here. The price is reasonable. New York Rangers, who actually did beat Tampa the one time they hosted them at home earlier this year back in October. Rangers minus 120 against the Lightning. That's going to be my best bet here for this Wednesday NHL card. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast whenever you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we will talk to you again tomorrow on Thursday to break down a massive Thursday NHL slate right here on the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now.